I don't want to pick on Kounde, but I think it's obvious that he's not on the level he was at when he was at Sevilla.
Last season, Jules Kounde was probably one of the best defenders in the world, and ever since he stepped on the pitch in this moment, he hasn't been the same. At one point, I seriously considered selling Kounde to be a pretty good idea, and now he's flying under the radar as one of the best players on this Barca side. So how did this happen? Kounde came into this season as one of the best players at FC Barcelona. He stayed healthy and was elite at right back the entire season, playing a critical role in Barca's run to the league title. However, at the end of the season, Xavi promised Kounde that the following year he could finally play as a center back, as that was his preferred position. So, coming into this year, how'd he play? Honestly, pretty well. His tackles were always well timed, and his positioning was just as good, as he rotated between the right back and center back positions with Araujo and Cancelo. Now, the team was far from perfect, as they were leaking a little bit of goals, but a lot of that had to do with the Sergio Busquets-sized hole in their midfield. All of that aside, the important thing is that Kounde was good until he got injured on October 9th. Despite only being out for 3 weeks, a lot changed for Barcelona in this time, and they were clearly struggling to find consistency and chemistry in each match. But when Kounde finally recovered from his injury and was slotted back into his center back position, it really exacerbated all of their problems. The team looked terrible and Kounde looked even worse, so I made a video talking about this maybe being the sign that Barca should sell him at the end of this season. Xavi tried to help him out by putting him in his favored position, but that couldn't happen anymore because it was hurting the team, so I wasn't sure where that left him. I knew Kounde was going to find his form again eventually, because everyone takes a little while to recover from injury, but I just didn't see him ever being better than Araujo at center back, and I think Xavi agreed. Since I made that video, he's barely spent a single minute playing centrally and operated primarily as a right back. Kounde was playing exactly where he had been unhappy last season, but there was one thing different this year. We didn't hear anything about him being unhappy. Maybe it had something to do with Xavi announcing his leaving Barcelona, or maybe Kounde had a change of heart. But whatever it was, that silence was fantastic for him. He slowly recovered from injury game to game, going from looking like a liability to looking like a lifesaver. It got to the point where he dominated Kvaratskhelia against Napoli. The guy was non-existent. One of the best wingers from last season was nowhere to be seen because Kounde was that guy. But nobody really talked about it. Now, that is a bit of an exaggeration because there was some talk about it after the match, but it was all overshadowed by one 17-year-old named Pau Cubarsí. His performance against Osimhen was incredible to watch, and he's still one of my favorite players to watch both on the ball and with his competence in tackles. However, all of that focus on him allowed Kounde to thrive. Last season, Kounde was our new signing, and so everyone had an eye on him. This year, however, there are a couple of teenagers in the squad that are probably distracting people from him. And it's that distraction that I think has helped him recover his form and maybe figure out what he wants. The back line is flowing incredibly well right now and performing so much better than it has this entire season. The profiles that Barcelona have in Araujo, Kounde, Cubarsí, and Christensen complement each other incredibly well. There's a destroyer, a versatile defender, a great ball player, and someone who's pretty good at all of that. When Kounde's at right back, he has the intelligence and positional awareness as a center back. He tucks in and is confident in his tackles, and I think this forms a very solid defensive structure, especially with the defensive capacities of Rafinha and Yamal. And I really can't emphasize enough how important Kounde could be for the future of this side. Just look at the best teams from the last few years. Man City last season, Liverpool 2019, Bayern 2020. They all have a big variety of defensive profiles in their back line, and I believe Kounde is crucial for Barcelona to get to that same position. He's very similar in profile to Nathan Ake or Joe Gomez or Benjamin Pavard and Nicolas Soule. They have that brain and build of a center back, but also the athleticism to cover as a fullback. This means their teams have more cover defensively, and also they have backups at the position should the main center backs get injured or need a rest. Sure, now none of those players I mentioned are fantastic going forwards. None of them are going to play an incredible ball like Trent or dribble their way to goal like Cancelo. However, Kounde's no slouch going forward either. He has shown that he gets into good positions and can put in a good cross every now and then as well. And I've even seen him taking a few shots from outside the box in recent matches, and they're always hit hard and pretty much always on target, so I really can't complain. However, the skies aren't exactly clear yet for Kounde or for Barcelona. Everyone knows Barcelona needs money, and a lot of it. It's restricting their ability to buy players, and it's putting a lot of players on the chopping block. Kounde was mentioned as potentially one of these guys earlier this season, and that made sense. He wasn't playing wonderfully, and we thought he didn't like where he was playing, so why not go? But now everything's flipped on its head. Ever since Xavi announced that he's leaving this summer, Kounde has been grinding. I'm not saying he wasn't doing that before, just that now we aren't hearing anything about him being unhappy, and so if he stays, it could be great for him and the squad for all the points I mentioned earlier. However, the future is not clear at all for two reasons. Reason one, because he might still want to play center back. It's very simple. He said exactly that before, and I can't know what he wants now. Now, I'm just speculating. I don't know what's going to happen. In fact, I think he's going to want to stay. It's the way it's looking like right now, but I'm just trying to prepare you for all of the possibilities, and it's certainly a possibility that he still wants to play as a center back. Reason two, Laporta forces a big sale to make a big splash in the market. Everyone knows Uncle Joan Laporta has a big eye for the reputation of this club, and well, with Madrid getting Mbappe this summer, I can see that tickling him in the wrong way. And that's not exactly to say that Laporta is wrong to feel like that. The reputation and marketing of this side is incredibly important for its financial future. If kids don't want to buy Barca jerseys, then Barca can't buy players, and it's as simple as that. This problem can build and build and build and really ruin a club over time, and the fact is, Haaland's name will sell more jerseys than Kounde's. I'm just using Haaland's name as a placeholder. Maybe it's Leao or Kvaratskhelia or Aladdin. I don't know. It doesn't matter. The fact is, Barcelona and Joan Laporta probably want a big name player that will help them sell those jerseys, and Kounde's in a weird limbo phase. He's in a position where he's good enough to make the starting 11, but he isn't receiving all the headlines and is liked enough by fans to want him to stay, but isn't liked so much that it would produce a public outcry, like the sale of Gavi or Kubarsi or Lamine Yamal would. The sale of Kounde, combined with maybe Frankie or Rafinha, and then a bunch of minor sales in Eric Garcia, Lenglet, and Romeu, could produce a lot of capital, enough capital to maybe make a big splash in the market. And to make everything worse, Barcelona are very privileged in the right back position. They've got Hector Fort, probably Cancelo after they make him permanent this summer, and then Julian Araujo coming back from his loan at Las Palmas. I could see how Joan Laporta and the board could think that they don't really need Kounde, no matter how incredible he is this season. If there is anything I've learned as a Barcelona fan over the past several years, is that Barcelona don't make the greatest signings, and they tend to buy players that put them in a worse position than they have been. So that's why it wouldn't be surprising that the team would sell Kounde no matter how well he is doing this season. But it doesn't matter. Kounde is fantastic and he deserves the credit for it, and you should look out for it because he is very intelligent as a defender on the right. He has been fantastic, and he's also wonderful going forward. He tends to create just enough to help Lamine Yamal and Rafinha create some more chaos on that side, and he seems to always get back into position. And I think he's just going to be getting better from here, no matter if he stays at Barcelona or he goes somewhere else, even if he doesn't play as a center back. Now, jump on over to this video about Riqui Puig and how he kind of chose fame over football when he went to the LA Galaxy. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.